Hello, everyone. We are back with another episode of With Love Solé. And something I want us to look at today is the phenomenon of the observer effect. Essentially, the phenomenon of the observer effect means that when you look at something, what you're looking at is affected by it having been seen by you. That anything in the observable universe once observed is affected by the observation of the observer. And I think it's really interesting when you break that down into how that happens in real time. It's so true, I think, when you look at other people, right? If you're looking at another person and you're looking for what's wrong with them, if you're looking through jealousy or envy or any lower vibrational kind of desirable experiences, whatever you're trying to get out of them by way of you or having seen them, that's what you're going to find. If you want to find an imperfection, if you want to find a flaw, if you look hard enough, you're going to find it because no person is perfect and we all have flaws. And on the other side of things, if you're looking at them with love and you're looking for the love in them and you're looking for the soul and you're looking with your own soul, what you see in them is a soul. Even some of the most difficult of people, if you're actively looking at them with love and for love, you're going to see the love because at the core of who we all are is love. And so if you're inviting and you're initiating and your intentionality is to coerce the love out of someone, at the end of the day, you'll see the glimmer of it, even if their physicality doesn't always express it in a way that you might hope or desire or expect. And this goes for all things. This goes for all things. Like in a neutral observance of something, just neutrally observing something, you affect it. Now imagine observing something with the intentionality of amplifying it or making it better or more itself or purification or whatever it is, whatever intentionality you put behind your neutral awareness of something invites that very thing out of it. I think this is really well introduced in the studies that have been done by meditating people who meditate collectively with the positive visualization of a certain outcome. For example, there is a group of people who have meditated on the crime rates in, I believe, what was like the Metro DC area, and that they got together and would meditate regularly with the positive visualization of the betterment of the crime rates in that area. Lo and behold, in them just simply visualizing a higher outcome, visualizing a positive outcome, the collective power of that actually affected the crime rates in that area. There was like a notable effect, a studyable and a notable effect in this group of people having positively visualized this particular outcome, and that particular outcome some way or somehow being born out of that positive visualization. And I think it's time we start to really take on the power of our own awareness in this way, because what has happened is our awareness is so powerful that we don't know it. So we're looking at the world from a particular lens. And when you can master your lens, you see a much different world. Instead of what the world is trying to get you to see, or they are trying to get you to see, so that you can create their particular outcome to funnel you into a certain timeline that they're trying to create for the timeline of humans. And if you just take your power back, if you just take your awareness back and refuse to see the world through the lens of chaos and commotion, lo and behold, who knows what's possible? We don't know what's possible. We know that meditators have studied that if they positively visualize a certain effect, that effect and outcome is possible. We know that the greatest athletes of all time say that if you visualize the ball going into the hoop before it happens, the ball is going to go into that hoop. All people who have started to reclaim their awareness and the power of visualization know that in just spending a little bit of time visualizing the desired outcome, if nothing else, you're feeding the timeline in a much better way where the path is clearer and easier, and you're giving your energy to what you want instead of what you don't want. And I think that's a huge, huge code that we need to stop pretending is like a cute, funny little thing that happens, and like an actual superpower that we all have and the power that we all maintain, and that the collective power is untouchable. They do not want people to get together in this capacity because they know the capacity of mass awareness and collective attention. And so far, they have utilized and weaponized collective attention against us. There's, what if you believe in the energy harvesting and all that kind of stuff where they create this chaos and all the chaos and commotion goes into the chaotic thing, and suddenly we're all focusing on that chaotic thing and we're giving our energy to that thing being chaotic instead of let's look at it with love. Let's send it love. Let's facilitate the highest outcome instead of the lowest one. And they know the power of the collective awareness even better than we do, because so far we've just been sort of giving our awareness and energy to what they've told us to in this way, that it's this thing. So we better look at it this way, and you better be scared. You better X, Y, and Z, the utilization of fear as a tactic to keep people disempowered. And all you have to do is say no. I'm not going to look at it that way. I'm not going to see this person as the ultimate bad guy. I'm actually going to send them love and hope that their soul reveals itself in some capacity so that they can do what they're actually here to do. I'm not going to feed into the fear and the chaos and the mongering that happens to kind of bring our attention to this, boiling over world war. What if we imagine a different timeline? What if we positively visualize peace instead of war? Imagine, because we haven't tried that yet. And so far, we just follow their little narrative and we listen to their little script that they're lying about, which is always what it is. And then they utilize our awareness to create that thing, which is going to then be weaponized against the people. Instead of the people saying enough is enough, I'm turning off your narrative. I'm not listening anymore to what you say is happening, because there's always some fishiness happening anyways. It's never what it seems. And I'm taking back the power of my own awareness. And I'm going to constantly stay in a state of positive visualization. I'm not going to feed fear to the narrative. I'm not going to feed fear to the timeline. I'm not going to feed fear to the script. My script is going to be filled with power. My script is going to be filled with love. It's going to be filled with positive visualization. It's going to be filled with what I wish to see in the world and not with what I don't wish to see. And this is the power everybody has. This is the power everybody has. And it is the self-mastery of being so aware of what you're thinking and how you're thinking about things that you don't let the fear and the concern and the chaos and commotion slip by your internal reality without you correcting that to say, that's not what I want to see, and therefore that's not what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to focus on the solution I actually want to see, what I actually wish to see in the world, which is peace and harmony and collective elevation and collective unity. I mean, imagine, we don't even know what the world could be like yet, because we've been so caught up in the collective destruction that happens by the powers that be, that we're stuck in their timeline instead of creating the timeline that we want. And I think those who have truly broken free from the matrix have been deep in building the timeline that we want to see by way of our own personal mastery, by way of becoming the person we would want to see going forward in the future. And then by sending that energy out into the world and seeing the world still, albeit the chaos, albeit the commotion, albeit the war, albeit the crazy things that are happening, we still look at the world with love, because we ourselves have cultivated the love within us, and we send that out into the world, and we know it's possible because we have made it possible within our own personal realities. So we're shifting timelines by way of our own awareness, and it seems so simple. It seems like, well, it can't be that easy, but it is. This is literally a scientific proven effect, which is called the observer effect. The way that you observe something, the energy you send to something, the way you positively visualize an outcome is what will be. Imagine if we all did that. Imagine if we all did that. And we can no longer afford for these quantum truths to be made woo-woo and like cute and like, oh, these meditators did that. That's so funny. Back to the TV programming. No, turn the TV off, baby. Turn the TV off. Stop listening to the narrative. Stop listening to their script. Stop feeding your energy to what you don't want to see. Stop giving awareness in the frame of something that you don't want to create, and shift to the timeline where peace is possible, where all of this can go away, where people are actually in their full divine power and spiritual gifts, where there's unity in the world, where love is the centerpiece of all that we do, where we see each other with love and we call the soul forward in each other. Like, all of that is possible, but you have to decide it for yourself. You do. And that's what it comes down to, is each of us radically deciding for our own selves and within our own personal reality, we will not let the fear and the chaos and the warmongering into our world. It is not welcome here. And we are not letting the people who have not done any of this work decide our future, our realities for us. We are deciding our own realities for ourselves. And we're going to use that decision-making power to create and feed the timeline that we know is possible and that we know we want. So there's this timeline split happening, right? There's a possibility over here of war essentially, and there's a possibility over here of what we all have been working towards, which is the new paradigm, where love is the actual currency, where we're actually connected in a way that feels good and is aligned with the highest timeline of all of humanity, where we ourselves are feeding the highest timeline of all of humanity by way of our own inner programming and our own inner work. That is what's possible, and that is what many of us have dedicated ourselves to, and the path we will continue to go down despite what this path they're trying to however they're trying to lure us down this path. Stop with the madness. And that, by the only way to say that, you can try marching in the streets, although as far as I have found, many marches in the streets, as bigger and better as they get every year, what outcome is happening? Unfortunately, although I appreciate the effort, I have not sensed that there has been a massive outcome by way of marching in the streets. What I have sensed is that there's a massive outcome when you take your power back. And when you utilize the power of your awareness and your consciousness to create new in the quantum reality, which has no other option but then to materialize in the 3D reality, because that is the way of manifestation. That is how a law of the universe, and that's how it works. But so far, we've let our consciousness be used against us to create their script and to create their narrative. We're not doing that anymore. We're not listening. We're not following what the celebrities are saying. We're turning off the TVs. We're not watching the news. We're not following along with the X, Y, and Z that they tell us is happening that we should be frazzled and dazzled about. No, no, no to that. Yes to the new. Yes to the collective power of consciousness. Yes to positive visualization. Yes to seeing in other people the love and the soul that you know is possible, that exists in all people. Let us say with every breath we take, with every time we look at anything, utilizing the observer effect to create a new world. That is what's possible right now, and that is a timeline that we can choose if we decide to choose that. And that doesn't mean we turn a blind eye to what's happening in the world, because there's lots happening in the world right now, and that's a very real thing. But guess what? We can send it love instead of fear. We can send it hope and power and conclusion instead of fear and worry and the world's going to end. What are you sending it? Be aware of what you're sending it. Change your energetic frame before you even look in that direction so that you can send it the highest timeline and not the lowest one. It starts with us, and the new is going to start and end with us. And we have to decide right now that we're no longer willing to let their tactics be used against us, that whatever they're conjuring, we're sending it love. We're visualizing the highest possible outcome of peace and unity and goodness for all people everywhere, and freedom for all people everywhere. And may all people be liberated. Send that, and then come back to that lane of the solution that you know is possible, where what you actually want to see is happening, where this new reality is absolutely possible, and we're the ones forging the way. Okay, that's what I got. See you guys next week.